Hey everybody, Biohacking Blondes here. This is Molly, and we're here with Alex, and we're very
Hello.
excited. Yes, hello. We're excited to chat today. We have a very interesting episode. We're gonna talk a little bit about our favorite travel tips, which is actually extremely on time and appropriate because we just went on a trip, both of us. So so we're excited to tell you guys kind of a few things and a few hacks that we had during our time. Both of our kids had their spring break last week, so we were both traveling, and we thought, oh, like this is a great opportunity to share kind of our favorite things for kind of getting through all of the fun, bumps along the road of traveling. But Alex, tell everybody where you went and what you do.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Great to be back here again. We went to Austria. So we were in our favorite place in Austria called Lech, and we were skiing for 1 week. And we've been there many times, and it's just so beautiful and quaint. And we just love everything about it: the culture, the different people, the foods, the smells, the cleanliness, and the freshness of everything, really, the air and the food and the water.
Hmm.
It makes you kind of reflect, I think, on how we live here as well. So
Yeah.
that was phenomenal. I mean, I have many kind of tips and reflections I would like to share. But first, back to you, Molly. Where did you go?
So I went to Steamboat Springs in Colorado, which is like a cute little ski town in Colorado. It was very, it was an interesting trip. It kind of had a lot of ups and downs, but it's always interesting traveling to a new altitude when you're coming from Florida, which is where Alex and I live. So Florida is very flat, and we are right at sea level, if not slightly below in places. So the transition from a sea level environment to a higher altitude environment can be uh, stressful on the body, and it can be a little bit of an abrupt change. So, what happened to us actually is that my daughter actually got really bad altitude sickness the first day we were there. We had been playing in the snow all morning, like the day after we had arrived, right? That morning we were playing in the snow, like going down sleds, running around. We were getting a tour in a snowcat. We were, really kind of doing like exercise basically, right? And then that afternoon, she just started to like throw up all over the place. She became pretty incoherent. Like you tried to ask her questions and she couldn't answer them. And we had gotten really scared because we had never done, anything like we'd never seen that before. And I had never had altitude sickness. I'm originally from Calgary, Canada, and they're already at like 3,500 feet. So maybe that's why I don't ever get it. But, but,
Mhm.
I think your body has, for some reason, where you're born too may have an effect on it. I'm not sure. But she, coming from Florida, in that abrupt time frame where you're just like you go from zero to Steamboat is at 7,000 feet. So that's quite a lot to go up in a short period of time. What they typically tell you to do is to like go slowly. So you're supposed to like fly to Denver, stay in Denver for 2 days, and then go to the mountains because it's like a slower, allows your body to acclimate better.
Yes.
'Cause obviously, yeah, so that's something that we could do next time. But in any case, she got very sick. We ended up having to call an ambulance because she was becoming non-responsive, and we
Oh,
were all freaked out. So
oh,
it was one of those moments as a mom where you're just like you're trying to play it cool, but you just want to cry. Like you're,
right.
like
You're not cool. Yeah.
yeah, you're like, where's my mom? Like it's crazy. But anyway, she did great in the ambulance. Like she had gotten sick a few times on the way down to get to the ambulance, and she was holding, one of those barf bags that they give us, which actually, by the way, I love those. I actually asked them for extras of those. So we have
Oh,
we have a collection of those. They kind of look like a vacuum bag. It's like
oh,
they're open in the front with like a plastic part on the back, and they're really awesome. I like them a lot. So if you
oh.
ever have a kid who's throwing up or a friend or whatever, like these are the best, ask the hospital for their
Where,
for
where do
their
we buy
response
them?
to that.
From you, Molly? from you?
Yeah.
Or
I have a bag full of them now, and I was, like, taking them with me everywhere because I didn't know at any point, like, was she gonna get worse again? Um, so the thing with altitude sickness, it's a couple of things. It's, an issue with a lack of oxygen, and then it's an issue if you're coming from a low altitude to a high altitude, and all of a sudden your body doesn't know how to process fluids properly, and the pressure becomes too much for the body. So the key things are to hydrate, not exercise the first day that you're there. So what we did was the exact wrong thing. Like she, barely ate breakfast that morning, didn't want to drink anything, just wanted to run out and play in the snow, right? So in hindsight, like we would make sure that she drinks a ton of fluids, make sure she gets electrolytes, which is one of the supplements that I'm going to recommend for tips today. The electrolytes are really critical, I think, for going into a different altitude environment. But anyway, so we got to the hospital. They just gave her fluids. They gave her Motrin. They gave her an anti-nausea. She didn't really get better at that point. We had put her on oxygen at the house because our friend who we were staying with had an oxygen tank. Her oxygen was fine at that point. She didn't get better though until the next morning. So she fell asleep and but then she woke up and everything was fine and she never had a problem the rest of the trip. So she went skiing, we did sledding, we did all the, cold weather tubing, we did all that stuff. And it was fine. But I think that for people to know when you're traveling from a low altitude to a high altitude environment, sometimes it's better to go slowly. Like, so, if you're going out to Colorado, for example, fly to Denver first, which is a lower altitude, then go to Steamboat, or then go to wherever mountain you're going to afterward, which is a higher altitude. And then also drink tons of water, like almost to the point where you're like, having to go to the bathroom every 5 minutes, like, because
right.
your body needs the fluid to be able to process like the difference in oxygen. I also think that so I never have a problem with altitude sickness, and the people who were with on the trip didn't have issues either. So why is it that she had an issue? It's a compounding of various things. Like she didn't have enough water, she didn't have enough maybe electrolytes, she didn't have enough to eat, she exercised too much the first day she was there. And on top of that, I think there might be like an inner ear issue. So people who have an inner ear issue have a little bit of a balance problem. So like these are the types of people who, when they go out on a boat, they immediately get sick. It's seasickness. Altitude sickness isn't that different from seasickness. It's you're moving from one environment to another and your body's not able to acclimate in balance properly, right? So, so that's kind of what happened to us. So it was a little it's a little
That's
scary.
crazy. That's so crazy. That's so
I know.
scary.
As a
Yeah.
mom, it's like, oh, I'm not even sure I've processed it yet. You're just
Oh,
happy that they're better the next day and you kind of like I wanted to cry the whole time it was happening, but I kept it in, because you want to be strong. And then
course.
but then when she was better, I never cried. So I feel like I have this like knot in my stomach where if you don't like express an emotion,
Right.
it's
Right.
like stuck inside you and you're like,
Yeah.
oh. But
Yeah.
anyway, so definitely like my main tip this time around is bring electrolytes with you. Which I was actually doing myself and hydrating myself, but my daughter doesn't like the taste of my electrolytes. So
Yeah.
in hindsight, I should have given her some juice, some other kind of electrolyte lemonade, something, even though it's sugary, like something that's going to hydrate her and give her some salt, like even just lemon and salt, and make her drink it. Like actually sit there and be like, you need to drink this whole thing.
Right.
Because with kids, it's so hard. They are so excited. They want to run around. They don't
Right.
think about these things.
Exactly. But now I think she will be more open to actually listening to you, right? After this
Oh yeah.
happened. Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Like you
Although
can.
I'm not sure how much of it she remembers, to tell you the
Oh
truth.
goodness.
You know what
Maybe.
I'm saying? Because the headache is so bad from the pressure
Oh,
that she was kind of unconscious, which is actually why we called the ambulance. She was she was just not there. And then when I talked to her about like the ride in the ambulance, like, do you remember what happened? And she was kind of like, you know,
wow. That's crazy. Oh my
it's like
God.
it didn't happen. It's one of those
Oh my
weird things. It's
goodness.
like,
Can you maybe tell the listeners which because there are many different electrolytes, right? And there are some that are
Yeah.
kind of, very popular and advertised and others that are not. What do you recommend? And also I see around here my kids play a lot of sports. Their teams are all, oh, drink Gatorade, okay? And
Right.
yeah, can we kind of address that a little bit?
Yeah, well, so Gatorade, I mean, it is an electrolyte and it will help you rehydrate. The only thing is that it's kind of sugary and it has some
Colors.
some of them have dyes in them. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. To make them blue. Why we need a blue drink, I don't know, but
Right.
it looks pretty, so we want to do that.
Yeah. Right.
Um, so I really like Thorne's supplement. It's called Catalyte. It's a lemon and lime flavored electrolyte drink, but what it has that's different than other electrolytes, most electrolytes are just like sodium, potassium, and magnesium, kind of like a mix of those. um, but this one is great because it's like a little mini multi. It has vitamin C. It has a select group of B vitamins. So it has a methylfolate. It has a vitamin B6. Now, these are at somewhat lower amounts, like just about at 100% of your daily value. If you look at like a typical B vitamin supplement, like they give you like 10,000, percent of vitamin D. These are just at 100%.
Mhm.
Or sorry, vitamin B12, not D.
Yeah.
Um, so these are like slightly lower, but one scoop of this is going to give you like a really nice select group of nutrients. So it's got zinc, it's got the typical sodium, chloride, potassium. It has some taurine in it. It has magnesium and calcium, vitamin C, thiamine, riboflavin, B6, folate, methylfolate, B12, and pantothenic acid, and has less than 1 gram of sugar. So
Amazing.
that really beats a Gatorade.
Oh, oh, absolutely. I mean, you just reminded me, I ran out of mine. My son has been using it like almost every day, and I'm very pleased about that. He takes it himself. I mean, he plays lacrosse, so
Yeah.
I mean, he clearly sees an effect from it.
Well, also, I almost wonder, like the reason I didn't get the altitude sickness, I took a double scoop of this the night before I went to bed.
That,
And I take it every morning, and I bring this bit, and it's kind of a big jug. Like I still pack it in my suitcase. That's how important it is to me. Like,
yes.
like I really think that, and people don't like to travel with supplements, but at the end of the day, this is going to make the biggest difference. Like just leave one of
Yeah.
those pairs of shoes out and like
Yeah, right, right, exactly. Really
put some
forget about your
supplements in.
clothes and shoes. Pack the vitamins and
Yeah.
the electrolytes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, totally. I even brought my amino acid powder, which is like a post-workout, kind of refresher too. So I
Oh,
do the amino acid powder and I do the electrolyte powder every morning when I first wake up. And I did twice that on my travel day. Which I think is helpful too, because when you're on an airplane, you're also not being able to, um, you're losing water basically. So drinking water on the airplane is really critical.
yeah.
And there's a couple other things too, like as far as I have a ton of supplements that I bring with me, so I'll just share kind of what I do.
Mhm.
And then we
Yeah,
can talk about other tips. But as
yeah.
far as supplements are concerned, like, I get a little anxious on airplanes. Sometimes I have no anxiety about it and I have no problem, especially if I'm like going back and forth to New York, which I do regularly. But when I'm going somewhere where I'm never been before or something new, then I tend to get a little more anxious. So I always take like a cortisol supplement, so some sort of adrenal supplement, like a rhodiola, an ashwagandha, a blend, some sort of, something like that that's going to help reduce stress. It's basically a cortisol modulator, right? So I take that. I also take a histamine digestive enzyme. I tend to have high histamine when I'm anxious. So I always take that on the plane. I actually sell on my website a detox kit. So it's like a travel kit, and I include like, the cortisol supplement for your mood. I do a digestive enzyme because obviously when you're, eating new foods, that's always helpful to
Wow.
bloating and things like that. I have a charcoal in there, charcoal pill that's if you get food poisoning or if you eat something that doesn't work with you, if you get gas from something that you ate that you don't normally eat, like I take those. I bring a curcumin supplement for pain. If there's any kind of pain issue, like I think I probably took one the day that the ambulance came, just to be like, I don't want
Right.
to feel this right now. Uh,
Right.
and then my favorite new supplement, which you and I talked about a little bit, is it's called Unbloat Me. And it's by this one of our favorite biohacker girls. Her name is Aggie, and she has a company called Biohacking Bestie. And it's a really great little herbal supplement that it's just pretty basic. It has cloves, fennel, ginger, marshmallow, licorice, but like I swear, like when I travel, I tend to get a little bloated because I think it's more stress even than anything, or you're eating something bad or
Yeah.
something that you normally eat.
Different.
And
You're out of your routine.
yeah, or just traveling, going up and down, on the airplane. I think that does weird things to your stomach for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I know like Gary Brecka and Dave Asprey, they always say don't eat on the plane. So like if you're doing a domestic flight, they say you shouldn't eat on the plane, like eat before and eat after, but don't eat when you're in the air.
Yep.
Um, if you're
Do you
on a
follow that? Do you follow that,
No,
Molly?
I don't. I don't follow that.
Right.
But I kind of think, I don't know. It depends. It depends how you feel. I think I use food a little bit, to be totally honest, as like an anxiety relief when you're on the plane. I don't know why.
Mhm.
But I do have specific things that I do eat. So I try to make sure not to eat anything like snacky, or anything that's too high in sugar, because then you're really going to feel bloated. Um, I have like three or four things that I always eat. So I have like either a turkey or beef grass-fed protein stick. So like, Nick sticks have them. There's a Chomps one version. There's like what's the other one called? The Primal, something Primal.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they have the turkey sticks, which would be good for you because you don't eat beef.
Mhm.
Um and then I have it's called the Himalayan salt popcorn by, what is the name of this brand? By Lesser Evil.
Mhm.
I love that. That's pretty good. And if like you're feeling anxious and you kind of need a little snack, like I actually had that with I went shopping at this incredible grocery store in Colorado, which by the way, if anyone goes to Colorado, it is the best place in the world for food for like health nuts like us. Like
Oh,
it's they have so many options. It's so I feel like I'm so jealous, because there's
oh,
just so many
oh.
great.
Do they have many like gluten-free and dairy-free and all that options? Like
Oh, everything. Yeah.
everywhere,
And
everywhere you go.
and I should have
Right.
said that. Alex and I are gluten and dairy free. So it makes traveling tricky because there's like nothing you can eat at the airport that
Nothing.
doesn't have gluten in it, basically. Anyway, I went to it was called Natural Grocers, and people should look it up because it's really an amazing store.
Oh,
But they had this incredible like cashew cheese that was pre-made, it's called Nuts for Cheese is the name of the brand. Actually, I went home and I ordered like four of them from the
oh,
company because
oh, wow.
they're so good. And I kind of just used my popcorn and I dipped that in the cashew cheese, and that was like the perfect snack for me.
Wow.
I also
And
have Oh, go ahead.
no, how does that compare? Sorry, how does that compare to Kitewell? That's the one that I've tried. That's a cashew cheese too, right?
So I think this is much better. So this really has more of that fermented flavor that cheese has.
Oh,
So
nice.
like Kite Hill, like the cream cheese, are you talking about? Or
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like a
yeah,
spread.
it's like a spread. Yeah, this is a little bit more like it looks like an actual block of cheese.
Ah,
Mm.
okay. Wow.
Yeah, and
Oh,
it just tastes delicious. I mean, it's nice and
wow.
fermented, so you get that little bit of a like like a twinge to it. Like it's not just like one flavor; it has like a
Right.
deeper notes to it.
Deeper. Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Like for cheese connoisseurs, they'll understand. It's like, you know, it's
Right,
wine
right.
connoisseurs, it's like, oh, it has a note of this or whatever, but
You're
it's
right.
so tasty and it didn't make me feel bad on the plane. We were flying back during a dinner time, so I had to have something for my daughter and me. So we were, you know, trying to figure out what we could eat. The other thing I like are nuts, which I know you like too.
Mm.
Um, and I found they have these little to-go packs of organic pistachios that were at
Ooh,
the natural grocers, which I thought were great. So
ooh,
I snacked on that. They're a little messy, but you know, you just find a bag and throw away all the pistachio pieces.
nice. Ooh.
And then my daughter and I were excited because we discovered at the natural grocers, we found this company called Choco Love. Have you ever heard of them?
No, never. What is that?
Oh my God. So it's dairy and gluten free. It's 55% cocoa. It's called Choco Love XOXOX. It's
Oh,
a
what a
funny
cute
name,
name.
but it has, so this is just a raspberries and dark chocolate. And when you bite into it, it literally looks like they just threw raspberries in. Like, like,
Oh my
like
God, how good is that?
yeah, so it's not like flavored with raspberry, like the way, like when you get, you know, you go to a fancy chocolate store and they're like, oh, this is a raspberry filled whatever, and it's all like, it doesn't look like a real raspberry, right? But like this, when
Right.
you bite into it, it looks like just chunks of raspberry. They literally just like melted chocolate over raspberries, and that was it. So
So good. Oh my God.
yeah, so we were still super excited, and only like three ingredients in that,
Oh,
so pretty, and no dairy. So yeah, so lots of good stuff. I mean, and tell me about, what do you eat on the plane? What's your
I
go-to?
love it. Well, so my little routine is, so remember, I was a flight attendant for 7 years for British
Yeah.
Airways, like partying around the entire world, right? So my base was London, and I flew everything but Europe. And it would be different. We would be thrown around from Hong Kong one week to next week we're in LA, right? So it was the constant time zones. And really, my kind of best tip for jet lag in general um, is really get on the time zone right away when you arrive. It's very tempting to sleep. As a
Mm,
flight attendant, we would often arrive maybe early in the morning, let's say back to London, and I would allow myself, because I've been up working the entire night, right? I would allow myself to go to sleep for 3.5 to 4 hours max if I arrived early. Never if we arrived in the afternoon. You cannot
mm,
go to sleep. How painful it is, right? And
yeah,
get yourself on the eating schedule right away as the time zone you're in. This is also huge. It's
yeah.
really important, and you would just acclimatize like really quickly. And I have no problem with jet lag whatsoever anymore, actually. So we flew Miami to Zurich, and we were in economy. So we were in stuffed as sardines in the back. And
Yeah.
actually, I had a guy behind me. This is quite funny, actually. I haven't told you, Molly, but I had
Yeah.
a guy behind me. He was some German dude that couldn't speak English, right? And he happened to be like 6'6". And of course, he was right behind me. So I tried
Oh,
to
no.
recline. We've eaten. I tried to recline. And the guy is basically pushing my seat forward. Okay. And I'm like, I'm sorry, right? I want to recline. So he keeps on pushing it forward. So then I go up on my knees and I turn around to talk to him, right? So I'm standing there, leaning over my seat, turned around on my knees, and I'm like, Entschuldigung, right? Ich will schlafen. I want to sleep, right? And he's sorry, sorry. And he stands up. He's like tall, 6'6". I said, well, then I take his knees and I touch them, and he should like fold his legs under the seat, not sit like straight up with them. So his knees are like interfering with the seat. Long story short, he wouldn't have it. So my husband gets involved and we almost have a fight on
No.
34,000 feet. So not very good. And I tell my husband, stop. Okay. Flight attendant comes and she starts speaking German to him. She's like, sorry, you got to pay a little bit more for a seat in the bulkhead or something like that. Right. So long
Yeah.
story short, then I tried to recline, tried to have a sleep, but obviously it wasn't so easy. But my help for this trip was I had a PMF mat. So I now get involved with a company called Centropics. And
Mm,
I had both their travel mat and I had their big mat for home. And this was a huge hack. So I was sitting on that and I was running their programs throughout the flight. And I think this was huge in how I felt getting off the flight.
mm,
So I was doing synchronized, and I was also doing calming, relax. Those two modes, I kept on kind of cycling throughout the flight, and that was awesome.
Oh,
Then on the way out, I ordered a gluten-free meal because I thought, okay, it's a 10-hour flight. I did want to eat. I hadn't eaten before because there is nothing for me in the airport either. So this was Miami Airport. Very tricky. So I ordered a gluten-free meal, but that was probably the worst choice that I'd done because it was literally dry white rice with dry piece of chicken on top
uh,
of it. It was
yeah,
actually disgusting, to be honest. It was unedible.
yeah,
So yeah, so that was tough. But I think the takeaway from it is obviously, and I should know better, be prepared, bring your own stuff. Even if you don't eat gluten free, I would have the chicken on the flight, which I had on the way home. But all the meals on the aircrafts are filled with salt. So they actually inject them with salt. And it's like, it causes even more bloating when you get off and you feel even more awful. So that, and then drinking loads of electrolytes and water, it's very important. I move around on the aircraft quite frequently. I'm one of those kind of painful passengers that the stewardesses hate, that
yeah,
get up and actually stand, and I do the calf raises. I
yeah.
do that quite frequently, and I think that's really good. I do stretches as well. I don't really care if people look or see me. I'm standing there like by the bulkhead, whatever. I'm not in the way. So that's that, but bring the food. And then also, of course, I am very passionate about immune health, as you know, Molly.
Mhm.
So I actually do, before my flight, I do a nose spray of povidone iodine. I inject that up my nose. I do 2 spritzes in each nostril.
Mhm.
That I think is really good. And I also carry my formulation Scandi Labs with me, which I take, all of us take before takeoff, and we also take it when we land.
Yeah.
So I think that is really good as well. And
Yes.
then, yeah, I said the jet lag, time zone right away. And then I use when I'm away, and also actually I use every day, but it's the melatonin I think is really, really good. Lavender on my pillow, and the PMF I used every single day in the morning and in the evening. I now do my Wim Hof breathing every morning on the PMF mat. That's
Nice.
huge. I think is amazing. And yeah, that's it. And
Yeah,
then, I mean, if you just want to hear quickly about the Austria and the food, which is, I mean,
for sure.
flipping-
Yes, for sure. Well,
I mean,
also, I just wanted to say one quick thing about
yeah,
immunity too on the plane, because Gary Brecka did a podcast on this recently, and he said that if you turn, like, even if you're cold, turn on the little fan above the fan that's like at the top, right above your seat. Like, make sure it's on and pointed at your lap. And he says that helps dispel viruses and things away from you, which I thought was cool.
that's so cool. I've never heard that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, I never thought about it," because often I'll turn it off because 'cause I'm too cold, but he's like, "Even if you're cold, put on a jacket and just but spray that, make sure that the air is blowing right on your lap, and it's, like, basically dispelling germs and things away from you, right?" And then he also mentioned, or well, what I like to do, um, is I don't know who I heard this from, but years ago, I think it was, like, an astrology person or something who I was talking to had told me, like, always when you're on a plane, make sure your neck is covered, the back of your neck, because
Yes.
that's sort of also like dispelling the virus stuff away from you, right? Your neck is kind of this like critical thing where all of the, that's where the viruses multiply. That's where they like to get in and get cozy, right in the back of your throat there. So if you could wear your hair down, you could wear a scarf around your neck, you could wear a shirt that has a collar or something that pops up that covers the back of your neck so it's protected. That I find has been really helpful. I don't really get sick after flights anymore ever since I've been doing that. So that I
Interesting.
feel, I don't know, I don't have any scientific proof on that one, but
Interesting.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I often see people. I always bring a scarf with me anyway because I could use a scarf as a blanket. I can use a scarf to wrap around my neck if I get cold or if I, want to cover my neck or whatever. Or you like, I don't know, you want to hide, you can put it on you. So
Yeah,
you want to
right.
sleep, you can put it over you, like, all of these things. So having a scarf on hand, I think is good too. Um, what else did I want to recommend? I do want to hear about Austria. The only other thing that I would mention about traveling too is I know that a lot of people get this way, but a lot of people get constipated when they travel because you're out of your normal routine, you feel anxious already or like rushed, you're not sitting and relaxed. Usually in order to go to the bathroom, you have to be relaxed. That's the whole rest and digest thing that we're always talking about. So so I do bring with me, I bring like the Cellcore bowel mover, and I bring the Designs for Health colon RX supplements. So if like the first day you don't go to the bathroom, those are super helpful for getting things kind of moving.
Oh,
Um, yeah, so that's I and some people have this problem. Some people have the opposite problem where they're like they have diarrhea. But typically I hear like amongst friends and everything like, "Oh, I'm on vacation and I don't go for the first 3 whole days I'm there." Well, it's because you're
wow,
not
that's
relaxed.
terrible.
I know, it's because you're not relaxed, you're not used to your normal schedule. Typically it's stress, it's just basically
Yeah.
stress related. And then you get home and you go to the bathroom like crazy because you haven't gone in like
Oh my God.
12 days or whatever it is.
Ah,
So
that's crazy.
I know. So sometimes it does take a little bit of a like some herbs to get that moving while you're there, but you also have to be relaxed. So in order to go to the bathroom, you have to be sitting down, you have to be like, doing something easy like sitting at your computer or, but rushing around and that kind of thing, your body's never really going to do it. The other thing too is like your body's teed up to go to the bathroom in the morning when your cortisol rises. So that's what when most people go, right? It's like after they've had a little breakfast and they've had some coffee, then boom, all of a sudden you go to the bathroom, right? Or some people just wake up and they have to go. So it depends. That cortisol spike in the morning is when is like your most ideal time to go to the bathroom. So oftentimes what happens is if you're traveling at that time when you should be going to the bathroom and resting and eating breakfast slowly and all of that, you miss that window to go, and then the rest of the day your body's not teed up to go to the bathroom, right? So the rest of the day you kind of don't really have an opportunity to go and your body's not really pushing it. And unless maybe you eat something and then that gets things moving, but it typically with the people who get constipated, if they miss that window, they've missed it for the whole day. So
Interesting. I mean, what about like I would have a cup of coffee and then that would kind of like when I even if that happens when I get to the destination, then that will kind of sort it out.
yeah, well, coffee works a lot for some people, but I know some of my clients who are constipated, they drink coffee like crazy all day
It
long.
doesn't work.
No, doesn't work.
But
Um,
but I think coffee with the key as well is not just the coffee, it's coffee with a lot of water
yeah,
because
yeah,
coffee is dehydrating, right? So you need to kind of and you need the hydration for it to kind of move.
absolutely. I have a plan that I give people who are constipated, and I tell them like the exact order of things in the morning. So coffee actually it helps peristalsis, which is like the movement of the muscles in your digestive system. So caffeine and coffee, like it literally just starts pushing those muscles. So that's why you'll have a couple sips and then you're like running to the bathroom, right?
Right,
So,
right, right, right.
and it's a diuretic, so it just makes you go immediately. But people who are truly constipated, they drink a lot of coffee. And I will tell you, they're like, I drink coffee all day. I can't go to the bathroom.
Wow.
So, but
Wow.
what they're missing is it's a combination of things. In order to be able to poop, you have to have water first. I believe some sort of fibrous breakfast. So some kind of fiber. So we're talking about seeds, nuts, even some greens. I usually say I recommend I have like a poop smoothie I give people. So which is basically just a high fiber smoothie. So you drink the water, you drink a little high fiber smoothie, nothing crazy, not some huge thing, but just like less than 8 ounces smoothie, fiber, which is that adds bulk to the stool. Then you have your coffee, and boom, then it starts. That's the like 1, 2, 3: water, fiber, coffee. Then you've got your poop. Like
Right,
it's
right,
coming up.
right, right. That's
Yeah.
the plan. Right. Okay.
Yeah. But
That
then,
can
and
work.
some people
Good.
that may not work the first day, but by day two of that, usually things start to move again.
Mm.
Um, yeah, but this trip, I had some struggles with this. Like, I think just because we were kind of waking up and running and rushing somewhere and like going to the ski mountain, and it just was a little bit like I didn't have enough time to rest in the morning, and that I think that throws me off personally, like because I like to kind of have like a warm, yummy period in the morning where I'm just sitting drinking my warm drink and I like
Yeah,
if
right.
I don't get that, I feel the whole day kind of feels a little bit thrown off, and I feel a little thrown off digestive wise too.
Yep.
So anyway, I don't know. That's kind of my plan for that. But then you can also take the bloating supplement or, the Colon RX and get things moving. It'll happen later in the day. It won't happen when you want it to happen. But, you don't want it to happen on the ski mountain, but
Right, exactly.
then you're
Right.
like, oh, what do we do?
You're going over a mogul. Yeah, right.
Right, exactly.
You're soiling
Like,
your
where do we
pants.
stop?
Yeah. That's not good.
Um, and the other thing too, so being on a plane is really interesting because it actually increases your oxidative stress. And I loved when you were talking about the PEMF mat because that's actually helping with the oxidative stress too.
Yes,
Um,
big
because it's
time.
helping with the EMFs in the plane. It's helping with you're at 34,000 feet,
Yep.
the pressure, all of that stuff. It's kind of recalibrating your body.
Yes. Yeah.
But you can also, because the oxidation is so bad on an airplane, you can also take an antioxidant. So you could double up on some resveratrol or on some glutathione. Like I've been taking the resveratrol, so I took a couple of those supplements, before each flight. Um, it just helps your body combat all the like things it's working against in that sort of plane environment.
Right.
Um, what else? I think that kind of covers it. So, okay, I want to hear about Austrian food now.
Yeah, so also, so just quickly, I mean, the food, first of all, the food is so fresh. The tastes are so,
Oh,
they taste like it should taste. So, like the lamb's lettuce, which I happen to love, it tastes like lamb, like it's sweet and peppery, and it's like very distinct flavors that,
mm,
every day in the evening, we had the whole spread of the salad bar that I literally could have as a dinner. It's that good. Like it's that good. Like I'm dreaming about it right now. And they have my favorite dressing, which is called a kernöl, which is basically I got the recipe from the chef. It's onion, garlic that you saute in the pan, and
mm-hmm.
then you kind of mix it with this hemp seed oil, a little bit of mustard as well, and it's absolutely delicious. It's a green. It's actually a green dressing, but it's so good. It's ridiculous. And yeah, it's just super, super fresh. The funny thing about, Austrian skiing in the Alps really is they are not geared towards people like me because the entire menu, I'm not just gluten free and dairy free. I also don't eat meat. Okay. So I eat chicken and fish, but no meat. So 99% of the menu is basically gluten. So you got the pastas, right? So if you if you eat the gluten, you're fine. Then you got the meat and the cheese. So for me, I was left with there was one restaurant up in the slope called Balmalp, and the only thing I could have was a shrimp salad. Like,
Right.
who wants to eat a shrimp salad? I mean, I ordered it, but it was not very satisfying, right? We're in the mountains and I'm eating shrimp, like
Yeah,
it's
that's what
but
you would eat in Florida.
yeah, that's Florida, exactly. It's not in the Austrian mountains. So
Yeah.
that was a little bit kind of, the hotel was amazing. They catered for me. So they made sure I had fish a lot of the nights, actually, the local kind of fish, which was very nice. And I had some chicken, I had some vegetarian even, and all gluten free and dairy free. So that was really good, but it was more the kind of the lunches. And for people like my husband and my kids, I mean, they're in heaven, right? There's all this meat and all these cheeses and all this gluten and but I have to say, I mean, the food quality is just it so supersedes anything that we have here. It's very local, it's very fresh, and it feels very healthy, right?
Yeah.
And you see people, I strike up conversations with these kind of old timers that are up skiing. They're in their 80s and they're up on the mountain skiing, right?
Wow.
And I spoke to a couple of them this time as well. And I'm like, are you on any medication? They look at me, no, why? Like we are excellent. We're moving. We are
Yeah.
eating fresh food, we are laughing, all these things. We're breathing fresh air. So I think that's a big difference, and also obviously the water. We drank the water right out of the tap. How fabulous is that? And
Wow,
it's
that's awesome.
wonderful. It tastes so good. You know.
Yeah, and it's that mountain water, clean kind of spring water coming
Yes.
through.
So you feel pretty amazing. Actually, I felt amazing the entire week. I had no jet, nothing. I mean, I felt great. We skied the entire day. We skied 7 hours.
Wow.
Just stopped for lunch, and it just feels so good. It's
Yeah.
it's everything about it that I just love. So
And you're outside, even in the cold, it feels
yes,
so fresh and like you're
that's
out
it.
like on the slopes. Like it's very, yeah, very cool. Very
Yeah,
cool outdoorsy experience. Yeah.
exactly. So that's it.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. Well, like I hope everyone got some good tips from this and, feel free to message us if you have questions about anything, if you want more names of supplements or names of foods or, we mentioned kind of
Gadget,
things,
gadget.
gadgets. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let us know if you have any questions and we'd be happy to answer. And I think we covered like a lot of stuff. There's so much to think about when traveling. The other thing too is that hydrogen water that, one of those like hydrogen water travel bottles would be nice. Like Gary Brecka has that Echo one and stuff like that. I thought about that when I was on the plane. I was kind of like, buying the bottled water at the airport, thinking about
Mm,
our water episode last week, the previous week. And I'm like, I don't want to drink this bottled water, but there's nothing else to drink, right?
that's
Um,
right.
you can't bring water on the plane.
Well,
So,
what people do now though, they bring the bottles, right? And then they fill them in these like water fountains. But I'm like, what type of water is in the water fountains?
oh, I wouldn't fill my water bottle from the fountain water. You think
No,
so?
that's what. But there are these like, yeah, there are filling stations everywhere in the airport now. I've noticed, and people have their own bottles. But like, what water are we filling it with?
Yeah, it's just tap water.
Right, it's a tough one, right?
Yeah, it's just
Kind of
tap water.
right. I mean, it stinks. You know, when I started as a flight attendant in '97, you could walk on with anything on the flight. There were no even security, right? It was
Yeah.
like you rocked on with like your whole, I don't know, like, I mean, yeah, you
Yeah,
rocked
I
on with
agree.
anything
It's
you
like
wanted. And now they're
That's why I wonder if you bring like a hydrogen water bottle, then you can buy, whatever water you want, even if it's like the tap water, you could fill that up because it's a filter. It has the filter in it. And,
well,
and it,
it's a,
but I don't know. I don't know how
no,
good.
it's supposed to be spring water you fill it with.
Oh, okay. So not you wouldn't use
It
like the
doesn't,
tap
yeah, it
water.
doesn't filter that stuff out. It adds the hydrogen, but it doesn't filter the kind of crap out.
Yeah. Or maybe that's what some of them do. I think
Okay,
they're all a little different. I'm not sure
and
what
the more
Harry's
expensive
does.
ones. They're like
Yeah.
$500.
I know that the Lumivite, that one we were looking at, but now I
Yeah,
kind of get why people have it.
right. Maybe it's
Because,
work. Yeah.
yeah, you can travel with it and it totally, I don't know how you must have to clean the filter and stuff. I don't know. We should do another podcast on just those water bottles because
Yes, let's do that. Let's have someone on our podcast that can talk about them too, right? Maybe
yeah,
someone
okay,
from the
that'd be
company.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Anyways, how can we reach you, Molly? How can the audience reach
Um,
you?
Yeah, you can send an email to me at molly@detoxcafe.com. Although I'm in the process of changing my website around, so I'll have a new email soon. But you can send that there. I'll still have that email. And I'm at mollysiegel.wellness on Instagram. So send me a DM.
Or also, we are biohacking blondes on Instagram.
Yep.
And I am Scandi Labs, SCANDI Labs on Instagram, or Alexandra at scandilabs.io. I'm in the process of creating an NFT with my product actually as we speak.
Ooh, that's
So
very
I'll be the first vitamin formulation with an NFT attached to it. Kind of
cool.
an incentivized scheme and protocol to share my formulation, and you can you can earn rewards and stuff like that, and then get free bottles. So pretty
Oh,
cool.
awesome. That's very
Yeah,
cool. That's like next level, next world stuff.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very cool. Well, anyway, thanks so much for everyone for listening, and we hope you have a great day and good luck on your next travel trip. Have a
Woohoo!
good one,
Okay.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.